Hello and welcome back everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about one of the most important things as a software engineer, as a software developer, or as a student who is getting into programming or robotics or any of the similar field. We're going to talk about terminal, okay? Terminal for macOS, PowerShell for Windows. Both of the things are kind of the same, in terms of, usage and usability. Also, we use terminal in Ubuntu as well. And this is basically a masterclass. After this video, you don't have to worry about, using terminal for Windows, Mac, or or even Ubuntu as well. You watch this video, you pin this video, you save this video with yourself, and that's it. This is one single shot of, using terminal, and you don't have to come back to this thing at all for any further time. So one more thing that all the notes that I am teaching today is in the description of the video as well. You can download them, from the description, and it's going to be very helpful for you. You can keep them, since you're learning and you're getting started with terminal, you can keep them and use them as much as you want. Pretty amazing, pretty helpful. All right. So without any further ado, let's actually get into it and let's get started. All right. So I am in my Windows OS. Okay. I'm also in my Mac OS parallelly. Okay, and you need to understand that Mac OS and Ubuntu OS commands are exactly similar, okay? So if you learn Mac OS commands for terminal, it's the similar thing for Ubuntu as well. So you don't have to repeat or, use it again and again. And that being said, you have to make sure that you know the basics of these commands, okay? And you know what exactly and why exactly are we using it for, okay? So these are the two things which are very important. So, I'm covering both for Windows and both for Mac at the same time. And this is one single time you'd have to watch this and you are done, with terminal once and forever. Okay. The reason why I'm making this, video essentially is to get you started with programming in a much more holistic way. Okay. As a software engineer, you would come across chances and times when you don't have a graphical user interface or GUI. Okay. You would just have a terminal screen. Let's say you are setting up a server. Let's say you are setting up a, Raspberry Pi, or let's say you're setting up a robot. Most of them have terminals as their console for using or monitoring the performance, okay? Let's say you want to create a new file. Let's say you want to edit some file, okay? Let's say you want to set up some code. All of these things can be done using terminal, okay? Before I actually jump into terminal, let's understand what exactly is a terminal, okay? So, terminal is nothing but a console, okay, where you can control different parts of your computer, okay? I'll give you a very simple example. I use this example to teach terminal to like very young kids, like 5-10 years old. And if I have to tell this to like a 5-year-old kid, this is how I would explain it to him. So understand this. Let's say you have a huge house, okay? Let's say you have a mansion, okay? In that huge house, you have different rooms, and you have a small toy which is lost somewhere, okay? Now, you need to figure out what all is there in all these rooms, and you want to see and, check, what all things are present, okay? There are two ways. One way is that, you can go into all of these rooms and you can figure out, what things are present. You can find your toy. That's one possibility. Second option is that you have a magic room, okay? A magic room or a master room where you can see all the rooms together at one single point. And from there, you have access of all the, video feeds, or, you can check whatever things are there in that room, in all the other rooms, okay? Using that one single room. Now, that one single room where you can access everything together, okay, is your terminal, okay? Your Mac OS or a Windows OS or any other OS always has a terminal, to, use brute force commands, to, if you want to add some binary scripts, or if you want to add some scripts to your files or to your code base, then you need to have a terminal for the backend, okay? It's very important for you to understand that terminal is quite powerful, okay? And it's a central console where you can access everything, okay? As any other, as this example that I took, where you have a central place for your home, or, where you can access everything, okay? Terminal also has something similar. We call it a root directory, okay? A root directory is nothing but a place, or the point where you start from, okay? You always have a root directory, okay? You start from a root directory and you go in detail, okay? Understand root directory as your house entrance, okay? You need to be at the entrance to get into the house and then navigate through inside, okay? I hope you understood this. This is a very simple analogy, okay? If you remember this thing, you would not have any problems understanding terminal at all, okay? Now, without any further ado, let's actually dive into it and understand terminal and use it as well for both Mac and Windows. All right. So I am in my Mac terminal, okay, right now. And I also in Windows, you have PowerShell. So you can just click on the start button and you can search for PowerShell. PowerShell. Yeah. So Windows PowerShell. Yep. So I have my PowerShell over here, which is saying that, everything is all good. And yeah, so, I have my Mac and Windows OS both at the same time. And since I said and talked about root, okay, root directory, you want to really know where you are, okay? You want to know where you are. So the way to get and to understand where you are, let's say you're lost, okay? And you don't know where you are, okay? In that case, what you can do, you can just write on the what do you call Windows machine, you can write get location, okay? So you can just simply write get location, enter, and you can see that it says path C user proxy. That's where I am right now. Okay, that's my current directory. Okay, basically understand this, that I started from C, okay, which is entrance. Okay, then I went to user, which is one room, and then I went to the second room, which is proxy. Okay, so I'm guiding through that path. On the Mac OS, you can simply write pwd. Okay, so pwd is basically the way to ask where you are right now. So it says I'm in the user and then I'm in Aman Malhotra. Okay, that's my Mac OS base where I'm running everything. Okay, that's where I am right now. So if you have understood until here, absolutely amazing. If you haven't, I would highly recommend take a pause, go back and start the video again. Okay, this section is going to be fundamental for you to understand what exactly is happening in a terminal and what exactly terminal is used for. Okay, that being said, let's actually move ahead. So we have used where you are right now. Basically, simply get location and pwd. For both Mac and Windows, works great. Then you want to see what is all inside the room now. Okay, so how do you do that? You can simply write ls. Okay, press enter, and this is all what are things that are present at this location. Okay, that you can find. And if I do the same thing over here, okay, in Windows you can do the same thing. Ls, enter. You can get all the list of things which are present. Okay. You can also, in Windows, you also have another thing that you can do. You can do get child item. Okay, you will get the same thing. It's the same exact process. Okay, you will get the same parts of of same example and same output essentially. Okay, ls and get child are the same thing that you really want to know. Okay, now you have understood how do you check for what all things are present, where you are. Great. Okay. Let's say now you want to, go to some specific place. Okay. Let's say you want to go to your desktop. Let's start with something simple. Let's say you want to go to your desktop. Okay. How do you do that? So first of all, you need to understand, in order to go to in one room, okay, you have to pass through another room first. Okay. So you have to go step by step. Okay. Very important for you to understand that step by step is very important. That's why when you read it over here, it says C user proxy. Okay. First I went to C, then I went to user, then I went to proxy. Okay, that's how I am working. Over here as well, okay, if I do, let's say pwd, okay, in this case, I am basically at user and then Aman Malhotra, okay. That's how I am at this location, okay. It's very important for you to understand that this is really important. I'll just clear this off so that you guys can see. So once you have uncleared this thing and you can see the terminal properly, you basically have a path directory where you can, get the location of your path. Okay, you can just simply write pwd and then you have this thing, user Aman Malhotra. That's great. Okay, and for this it's here. Okay, now I want to go to desktop. Okay, in order to go to desktop over here, what I'll do is I'll see if in proxy I am able to find the desktop. Okay, so I'll do ls, and on the list of things I can see that there's a folder named desktop. Okay, since I see that there's a folder named desktop, I can go into this folder. Okay, so I can step into the folder or step into the room. Okay, over here, let's see what all do I have. Okay, do I have desktop? Okay, let's see. I do. Okay, so I have desktop over here as well. Now I want to enter this room. Okay, how do I do that? Okay, how do I enter a room inside? The way to do that, let me clear this off. Okay, I think I'll resize this terminal. So I think it's a little up. Yeah, now it's perfect. Yeah, now I think it's great. And I'll move it a little down. Yeah, now great. Perfect. So now I want to enter the room. Okay, how do I do that? I can do that with the help of a command known as cd. Okay, cd in macOS and also the same in Windows OS as well. With the help of cd, you can go to one particular location. Okay, so let's say I want to go to desktop. So I'll write DES. Okay, you just need to write DES. Okay, then you can press tab on your laptop or your keyboard, and it will automatically complete it for you. Okay, cd desktop, and now you are in the desktop. Okay, now over here I'm going to do the same. Okay, cd desktop DES. Oh yeah, it's automatically completed by tab. So I'm in the desktop folder now. Okay, you see it's pretty easy. Okay, you can navigate now through the room. Okay, now you're inside the desktop and you're at the desktop. Okay, and over here as well you're at the desktop. Okay, now you want to see what all is there on your desktop. So you will use the same thing again. You will use the ls command, as I said before, okay, to navigate what all things are present. So we'll use ls, press enter, and you can see I have Microsoft Edge over here. Recycle bin is not usually visible, so that's why it's not there. Okay, that's absolutely fine. If I do it over here, I can see, I just have one image which is there, and yeah, a couple of other things which are there, it's file folders and everything. Yeah. But the main idea is that you are now in desktop, okay, which is amazing. You have understood how to navigate inside your own laptop using a terminal, which is amazing. Okay, that's a very big step. If you haven't understood until here, I would highly recommend taking a step back, okay, going again on it, and understanding what exactly we did until here. Okay, great. Now let's say you want to create a folder over here. Okay, I can see on my Windows I don't really have any other folder, but how can you make a folder? You can use mkdir. Okay, mkdir is one single command which will allow you to create a folder right over here. Okay, so mkdir, let's say I want to create a folder named proxy, which is my company's name, by the way, proxie. Okay, enter. So you made a new, you can see now the folder is also visible and you have proxy. But let's say you cannot see the desktop. How would you confirm that the folder has been made? You can use the same command, ls, press enter, and now you can see on the list you have a proxy folder available over here. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing over here now on Mac. So I'm going to do mkdir. Okay, proxie, enter, and now it's done. Okay, I'll do an ls. Now you can see proxy is already there. Okay, now we have a folder named proxy, which is perfect. Now that's what we are looking at. We are looking at how you can systematize this process and make it very simple. You can do the same thing on Ubuntu as well. Okay, Ubuntu and Mac OS are exactly the same. Okay, so as I suggested, you can do the same commands on Ubuntu. There's nothing literally that changes. Okay, so these two things are done. Okay, which is perfect and amazing. Now we are going to move ahead and we are going to understand how can you create a file as well. Okay, let's say you want to create a file. How can you do that? Okay, I'm going to go inside the folder now. Okay, how? I'm going to do cd proxy, enter. Now I'm inside proxy folder. Okay, I'm going to go over here as well, cd proxy, enter. Now I'm inside the folder. Okay, so to make it easy for you, I'm going to open the folder over here. So you can see right parallelly, what we are doing. Luckily, Windows has this feature where you can magnetically, connect everything together. On Mac, we don't have it, by the way. So that makes it a little difficult, but that's absolutely fine. Okay. So now you have these folders over here, which is amazing. Okay. Now what you need, you basically need to connect these blocks together. Okay. You need to create a new file, and you should be able to see it as well parallelly at the same time. Okay. Let's see how does that work. Okay, so you need to know a new command which I'm going to teach you right away, but I'm thinking to open my files over here as well. So let me quickly pause it for a second. All right, so I just fixed the Windows, so it doesn't really run away. Perfect. Now I am going to go inside the folder proxy. So I'm inside the folder proxy over here and also over here as well, which is amazing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new file. Okay. Now, let's say you want to create a new file, okay? It can be anything, okay? It can be any Python file. So I'm going to create a new Python file right now. A Python file usually end with a end with the what do you call a tag or a description of .py. The extension is .py, okay? The file extension is .py, okay? So I'm going to create a new file over here in macOS first, okay? So touch aman.py, enter, and now you can see it's created aman.py over here for me. Okay, let's say you want to create a new file over here on Windows. Okay, so I accidentally pressed that over here as well. So let's say you want to create a new file over here or with touch. I just cleared off everything. Right now I'm here in this use case, and you can create a new file with something known as a new item. Okay, so new item, and then file name. It could be anything. Let's say aman.py. Okay, so now it created a new file for me, which is named after aman.py. Now, let's say you are creating a Ruby code. Okay, let's say you want to program in Ruby. Okay, how would you do that this time? Okay, so new item aman.rb, enter. Oh, I missed this. Okay, my bad. Perfect. Now you can see there's a Ruby file as well. Okay, the same goes over here on macOS as well. Touch aman.rb, enter. Now you have a Ruby file. Okay, let's say you want to create a text file. Okay, so touch aman.txt, enter. Now you have a text file. Okay, over here as well. Here's another shortcut. You can use your arrow keys up and down to go back to the command, and you don't have to write it again. Okay, so txt, press enter, and now you create a text file. You see, it's so easy for you to understand and it's so easy for you to create new files just using your terminal. Okay, you don't have to do that right click, and create a new file and everything. It's kind of like very optimized and very straightforward. You have to create a new file. You use one command line tool, one command, and you're having a new file right away. Okay, so let's say you want to remove some file. Okay, for some reason you are like, oh, maybe I don't want to code in Python. Okay, so I want to remove my Python file. How would you do that? Okay, the easy way for removing item in Windows especially is remove item, and then you say aman.py and press enter. Okay, and now it's going to delete it. Over here as well, you use something as rm. Okay, rm aman.py, press enter, and the Python file goes away. You see how easy it is to understand and how to, easy it is to create files and remove files using your terminal. Okay, you don't really have to go exactly to that folder, delete that file. You just simply remove it from here. Okay, very important thing. Sometimes when you're using your Windows laptop or, your Mac laptop or Mac OS, or Ubuntu, sometimes you're not able to remove certain files. Using this terminal, you can do that. Okay, so that's something which is very important. We'll talk about root controls a little further. Okay, that's something which is going to be even more helpful. But root controls allow you to, give permission and take permissions for taking such actions without the administrator control, which is quite helpful. Okay, so we'll talk about those things a little later. But yeah, so that's very important. Now, let's say you want to move some item. Okay, you want to move some item from here. Okay, how would you do that? So the easy way is, or the one of the way, or the way of doing it is that you need to know the address first. Okay, you need to know where you are present currently. Okay, to do that, you can, on a Mac, you can just simply do pwd. Okay, this is where you are right now, and that's very important. Why is it important? Because when you go to move the file, you need to tell the destination where you want to move it. Okay, so in order to do that, you can actually move the file using the mv command. Okay, mv. Then what file I want to move? I want to move. I want to move the aman.rb file, rb. Okay, now where I want to put it? I want to put it on the desktop. Okay, and then press enter, and now you can see the file has been moved. Okay, which is pretty amazing. We can see that the file is over here. Okay, so aman.rb, I can see it. But we can also like go back here, and you can see the aman.rb is over here, which is perfect and amazing. The same thing you can do with your Windows terminal as well. So let's do that. Okay, as I said, you need to know the location where you want to put it. The best way to do that is you need to get the location. So I'm going to get location, press enter, and then you have the path. Okay, pretty easy, pretty straightforward. So let's say I want to move it to desktop as well. So I'm gonna yeah. In this case, you can move the item using move item. And then let's say you want to move aman.rb. Okay, and I want to paste it at this desktop address. Right click. Okay. It's quite hard on a emulator to do all these commands. So I'm going to type it out actually. So C / user / proxy desktop. That's it. Press enter. And now you can see the file has been moved. Perfectly amazing. Okay. And you can see the file is now present over here. Okay. If you have learned until here, then you know a lot more than a lot of the programmers out there actually. Using terminal is so difficult for some people because they haven't understood the basics of it. So if you haven't learned it until here, then you're pretty good to go. Actually, go ahead as well. So, but I won't really say that, you skip the video. I would say, stick to the video so you learn the entire terminal in one single shot. I hope you're making notes. If you're not, then it's also fine. Just have a look, okay? Very important. All right. So now that now that we have understood this, let's actually move ahead and do some more implementations of this, okay? Very important. Okay, so we have the Mac terminal over here and the Windows terminal here, which is great. Okay, now we have, understood how you can remove files, move files, and do a lot of things, okay? But sometimes you really want to copy files, okay? How can you copy one file and, paste it somewhere else? The way to do that is you use something as CP. CP. So let's say I want to copy, let's say which file do I have? I have aman.txt. So I want to copy aman.txt, okay? And then I want to paste it on the desktop as well, okay? So I will just copy this address and paste it and press enter. If I go back, you can see I already have the text file here, okay? What I did is I just copied one file and pasted it in some other location, okay? Very important for you to understand that you need to know which file you want to copy and you need to know where you want to copy it, okay? Very, very important. Next thing that you would want to do is you would use the same command on your Windows laptop as well, okay? So CP or copy was for Mac. Over here you have copy item, okay? Copy item, then source, which is going to be aman.txt. Where I want to paste it? I want to paste it at C. Okay, and then user, then proxy, then desktop. Enter. Okay, so I copied the file aman.txt from proxy folder and I moved it to the desktop. Pretty easy. I hope you are able to get this until here. If you are, then you're doing absolutely amazing. Okay, if you're not, I would highly recommend taking a pause, going back and taking a look on these things again. Okay, but that's very important. So we have understood how you can copy item. We have understood how you can remove item. We have also understood a lot of other things as well, which are there. Let's say, to understand the location where you are present. I would highly recommend practice this until here and take a pause here. Okay, take a pause here. Practice all of these things first. I hope you understood all of these things until now. Okay, and then you can move forward. Okay, but I would highly recommend practicing all of them to get a very good understanding of things. Great. Okay, so now we have understood copy. Now let's say you want to search for something. Very important. Okay, you want to search for something. Using a terminal for searching is kind of cool and kind of helpful because then you can go into a lot more descriptive way of looking at files, and I kind of like it. To make it easy, I'm going to move these files from here and copy them inside. Okay, I'm going to copy them. I'm going to paste them all inside the proxy folder. Yeah, okay. It's fine. I need a Python file as well, but it's okay. No big deal. Yeah, replace. Perfect. Well, at least we have two files. So what I'm going to do is let's say you want to search for something, okay? How do you search for something over here, okay? Let's say you want to really search for something. You can use something known as find, okay? Or, on the macOS. So you can write find, okay? And then you can write which directory you want to find it in, okay? Let's say I would like to find it in my home, like almost home directory, which is my until Aman Malhotra. Okay, so I'm looking at a very big room now, okay? I'm not looking at a small room. I'm looking at a very big room that also has desktop as well, okay? So I'm looking for, a file over here, somewhere inside this, okay? Let's say that, your toy is in the big hall room area. but the whole room area actually has 5 more different rooms. So you don't know which room could it possibly have. So you would use this tool, help you find it very fast. Okay. So you would use, find, okay. And then you would write the area you want to check in. And then you basically write name. Okay. You want to search it by name. And then you want to search for what file are you looking at. So, okay. So I'm going to look for almond.rb. I already know where it is. So I'm going to press enter. Yeah, it's allow access to all photos. Yeah, but it's my directory is quite huge, so it's very important for you to understand. Yeah. Okay. So it now it's asking for a lot of permissions. Yeah. But you can see over here, it has already figured out where the file is present. User.aman. Okay, fine. Okay, so very permissions. Yeah, it has already figured out where it is. User.aman desktop and aman.rb. Okay, it's a long operation that it's doing. It's actually stop it. Yeah, I'm gonna terminate it right over here. But yeah, that's how you basically find in Mac OS. Okay, let's come back to Windows OS as well. And let's say you want to find a file over here. Okay, let's say you want to find the same kind of file, but at a different location. So you use get child, okay, item recurse filter. Recurse filter is like you find the file using a recursion loop, and you want to look for aman.rb. Okay, I might use it again. So okay, I need to check why is it not working for this, but it should ideally work. Oh, my bad. Perfect. Let's run this. Yeah, now it's working. So you can see it's already figured out, but I'm going to make it a little hard for this program. I'm going to go back. Okay. Now we have already seen how you can go inside a folder. Let's say you want to go back into the folder, or you want to go back into one room. Okay. You can use cd ... double dots. Okay. And you are now in one step back. Okay. So I basically moved from proxy to desktop folder. Similar for this one as well. You can just do cd ... and now you're in desktop. Okay. You can take one step back. Now I'm going to run this command for searching it, and let's see how does it work. So you can see it found this file at 2 different locations. One is inside the desktop and one is inside the proxy folder. Pretty amazing. You can make it even more difficult if you go even more one step back and run this file again. Yeah, it's going to give you the same results. But yeah, the main idea is that, find works pretty phenomenally and it's pretty easy to find a file if you know these commands, of course. Okay. These things, recurse and filter, are like, okay, additional parameters, but this is like the way how do you use them usually as well. Okay. So it's quite important to know that, that you need to understand and you need to run these commands. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem for you. Okay. So that being said, and that being understood, we can actually move into the next steps as well. Let's move on to the next one, which we are going to look at. Okay. So we are going to look at some of the other parameters as well. We are going to look at, let's say, we have already figured out how do you find a file. We're going to now look at, contents of the file. How do you, figure out what all the contents are there? Let's say I would like to go back to my directory at desktop. So I will go to cd desktop. Then I would go and go inside proxy, enter, and now inside proxy. Okay. I will do the same over here as well. cd proxy. So now let's say you want to do something that you want to, get the contents of the file. Okay. What you can do is for macOS, you can just write cat, okay, which is, for the content. Okay. And then you can write the file name, aman.rb. Let's say, press enter. There's nothing present actually. So let me open my Sublime and add some stuff inside. Okay, let me just copy this thing, paste it here. It's not a Ruby code actually, but yeah, still, at least I have something inside now. Okay, let's do this now. You can scroll up and see what all you have inside the file now. Okay, so you see this is how you can display everything. Okay, and it's pretty easy and pretty helpful. You can do the same thing for your Windows as well. Okay, I'm inside this folder. Let's go with the text file. It's pretty easy to edit. Okay, so I'm gonna say I am Aman Malhotra. Perfect. So, a couple of lines. Yeah. File save. All right. So now this is done. Okay. Let's say I want to see what is there inside the Aman dot, text file. So I can just simply write cat. Okay. Or no, sorry, no, cat was for macOS. Get contents. Okay. Get dash content. Okay. Get content. And then I'm going to say Aman dot txt. You see, now you can see and read all the contents right over here, which is again very helpful because you don't have to jump into any other program or, install some user interface, to see or explore the code. Now, yeah. So now next thing that you would really like to know is, view your file one screen at a time. Okay. But that's something which is additional. So I want to recommend that, it's just an additional step still there, what is more important is how to use Vim. Okay, Vim is a tool which allows you to, what do you call? It's a text editor basically. It's like Notepad. Okay, but it's inside the terminal, which is the cool part. So you can write Vim. Okay, and then you can write aman.rb or txt and press enter. Okay. For this Windows, I have not installed Vim, so that's one of the problem. Because the thing is, it's not directly available for Windows to edit text over here. But on Mac OS, it is available. Okay, so Vim is like kind of easy to install and it's available as well. So you can use, if you're using Windows, you can still use these commands, but there are some third-party plugins that you need to work around, which is a lot of work. So I don't want to. I think it's not that important for you to understand at this point, because if once you learn further, then you might be able to. Then you might need it, and then you might be able to figure it out on your own. Okay. But Vim is basically a text editor. Okay, the way it works is you write basically vim.text, aman.text. Okay, and then you basically get all the file contents. Okay, it's quite difficult to exit on your own, so you need to understand that the way Vim works is quite different. Okay, it's a command line tool, so you need to understand that everything that you see is going to be a command line tool. Let me mute this out. Okay, yeah. The way to exit is Control X. Okay, that's how you exit Vim. Okay, but for Vim specifically, I'll be talking and telling you about all the other commands in a little more ahead time. But yeah, Vim is one of the important things that you can possibly use to edit your text as well. You can also use Nano, by the way, Nano, and you can write aman.txt, press enter. Nano is a little more simplified because you can see things over here. Vim, it's not there that much. Okay, so let's say you want to write something. Hello, I am Aman. Oh, Aman Malhotra. Okay, now let's say you want to exit. You just press Control X. It will ask you if you want to save. I would say yes. Okay, do you want to name the file the same thing? Absolutely. So press enter, and now you exit. Okay, so aman.txt has now been edited, and now when I open it on my what do you call Sublime. Okay. It's going to say, hello, I am Aman Malhotra. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Okay. There are a couple of these, editors which are available. Okay. One is Emacs as well, which is not available for Windows. But it's still, all of these things are, quite Mac operating based things. Okay. In Mac OS, you also, and Ubuntu as well, you have something known as chmod. Okay. It's not there for Windows, so it's very important for you to understand what is there for Windows, what is not there for Windows. But chmod is basically to give permissions. Okay, you want to make it executable. Let's say sometimes you have files that you want to make them executable. Then you basically give the permission for executable and runnable as well, which is basically plus and multiply like this. Okay, plus this one. Sorry, by the way. So then you can make a file like, let's say aman.rb. It's not an executable file, but yeah, it's hypothetically speaking. You want to make it executable. You press this command, and this is like an executable file now. Okay. So when you do ls again, okay, you can essentially run this with a compiler. Okay, so that's the main purpose of this thing. We're not going to use it right now, but just to give you an idea that this is possible. All right. So now you also have change of file ownership as well for Mac OS. Okay, that's not again on Windows. So you do that with with CHOWN, and then you select the file aman.rb, let's say, and you press enter. Okay, so then you can change, give it a parameter, of course, then you can change the permission of ownership of the file. So these are extra stuff which you don't require now, but just to let you know, this exists as well. I have made a good amount of notes for myself, so that I don't forget anything to tell you. So it's pretty helpful and pretty easy. Okay. Now, another thing that you would read is PS. Okay. PS is basically list of all the processes that are running in the background. Okay, in your OS. Okay. Very helpful for you, if you're finding some particular, processes in the background. Okay. So you just write PS on your Mac. Okay. And for Windows, you can basically write get process, press enter. And these are all the list of processes that are running in the background. Okay. Very helpful, very, very helpful, actually. Very, very helpful. Someday you're looking for that one, let's say, bug, or let's say, you're looking for something that you want to really stop. Then you can use this command to, kill that command right away from the terminal itself. Okay. Sometimes when you're running a robot, since I'm from a robotics background, we use this command to, figure out, where is the processing actually happening. Okay. Sometimes, the fans are overheating and, things are happening bad. We use this command to, figure out, okay, what is actually taking so much memory and taking so much space. So it's more like, what do you call, a performance measurement tool, because you also can see your CPUs, CPU, percentages as well, which is quite helpful. I feel it's quite helpful. You might never need it, but it's still good to know. Now that you have figured out a process, okay, how would you kill it? Okay, there is something known as a PID. Okay, or it's basically the process ID. Okay, that you need to know. So there are multiple PIDs which are there. Okay, so which you can use to stop these processes. You can see PIDs over here as well. Let's say you want to stop PID 36529. Okay, let's say you want to stop this one 36529. Okay, so the way to stop it in a Mac OS is pretty straightforward. Just write kill, and then you put the ID. You can actually write the first 3 letters as well. So most of the time it's like the same, but if you have like complications, I would highly recommend just write 4 letters. 4 letters are like the safe side of things. So press enter, and yeah, I mean, of course, sometimes problem. So let me just write the full ID. Okay. Yeah, I think that's changed now. Yeah, I think it used to happen. Now it's not there anymore. But yeah, you have to put the, or I might have mistaken in that case. But yeah, so if you do no such process is there, but yeah, we just copied the ID. I can be wrong as well. Yeah, kill that the process. Okay, I'm just telling you how you can kill a process, but it's not really that, this process exists. It's just an npm start. For this same process as well, okay, over here you have handles. Let's say you want to kill 449. Okay, you can go over here. Okay, Cortana, or I don't want Cortana. Holy shit. Okay, cool. So now you want to stop something. So you write stop process, and then you write, okay, let's say the last one that I'm looking at, 398, enter. Okay. Yeah, of course, sometimes it's not really picking it up. But yeah, main idea remains the same, that, you need to have the handles ID. Or sometimes I think in Windows you use PM. I think so. It's been a while since I used it. So, I might be mistaking as well. But the process, it's over here. I think my bad. Yeah, again, IDs are over here. So 3268. You're going to use 3268. Okay, I think I missed it. 3268. Enter. Yeah. So you want to, it will ask you, do you want to kill it? Yes, I want to kill it. Now it's stopped, basically. So if you run that command again to see all the list of processes, get processes, you won't get that process anymore, okay? Because you killed that process. That's how powerful this tool is, that, you can create and you can stop, certain, processes that are running in the background, okay? And you don't have the control for it. So aggregator host was running before. I hope it's not running now. Yeah, it's not running now. So yeah, I mean, just to be sure. So it's quite a cool thing to have, quite a powerful thing to have. Not just cool, actually, quite powerful, because then you can manage your resources quite well. Okay, and that's the main idea of regarding or behind terminal at the end of the day. Okay, then you have display of you can use top. Okay, which allows you to display a dynamic view of the system processes. I can show it to you. How does that look? Okay, so you can just write top. And then you have a dynamic view, which means everything is updating in real time. Okay, let's say you're running something, okay, and you want to know how much things are running, how much process is taking place, then you can use this thing to, check for performances. Quite helpful. Yeah, you can go over here on Windows, okay, and you can use get process, oh my bad, get process, and then there are different ways of putting it out. I'll just show you how it's done. I have noted down like this. Okay, so you have this thing, sort object. Okay, sort object, and then you basically add a parameter like property, and then you basically have CPU. Okay, what do you want to show? CPU. How? Descending. Okay, then you have a select. Okay, object. Okay, then you have first, then you have 10. Okay, this is like a straightforward out of the notes thing. Basically, I'll tell you what exactly is happening. We're getting all the processes, we're sorting them depending on different properties, and for CPU, we're going to go with descending, and for the select objects first 10, we want the first 10 to be there. Okay, let's say you want to see the first 100, so you just change the first 100. Okay, then you have the first 100 of them which are available. Pretty helpful when you have a lot of things happening in the background, okay, and when you want to monitor all of them at the same time. It's kind of the way of looking at things as an overview. Okay, then another thing that you might be requiring in your lifetime, or once you're getting started, okay, you can, yeah, by the way, I forgot to tell you, you can stop the process with the help of Control C, okay, which is to terminate processes. Okay, so let's say you are running something like top, okay, and you want to stop it right now. You can just write Control C or on your Mac. Okay, and it's the same thing over here as well with Windows. Okay, so let's say you're running this thing. It's already terminated, but yeah, you can just terminate it with Control C as well. So, very helpful, very important to know as well. Okay, cool. So now you might be requiring these command line tools or, a terminal for your networking. So I'm going to talk a little bit about networking as well, because I think it's quite important for you to understand that networking doesn't happen that easily. So this is like one of the most important things, actually. If you're even if you're like a network engineer, or if you're a developer who is fixing a router, checking if the internet connection is working. I mean, of course, there are websites that you can go and check what is your IP address, and let's say you want to know the IP addresses which are on your network. Of course, that is possible through router as well. But since you have terminal, why not use that? Okay. That being said, let's actually do a simple test for the network. You can just simply write ping, and that's it. Okay, so I ping, and then you have to write out, of course, an IP address. Yeah, I forgot to tell you that you need an IP address as well, because then you can ping to an IP address. Okay, so that's one possibility. I'm not going to use one IP address of my own, so I'm going to figure out Google's IP address. Okay, Google IP address. I'm just checking it up on this. Yeah, okay, so this is the IP address for Google. Okay, let's go here and write ping again. Okay, and let's say you want to ping for the Google IP address. Okay, so this is 888, enter. Okay, and now you can see you're getting the data back. Okay, so you're basically, what exactly is ping, you might be thinking? Ping is nothing. Basically, you're requesting to get the data, and it's basically an establishment of checking if we are getting the data or not. Okay, when you use ping, you're basically checking the connection between your laptop or your device to another source of data. Okay, it can be even between your laptop and your phone. It can be between your laptop and your smart devices. It can be between your laptop and the robot. It can be between anything. Okay, you ping is like an echo. You basically listen to the packets which are coming, and you check. You also see how much time does it take as well. Okay, so if your ping is not working, then you're essentially not connected properly, or you're not able to reach the host properly. Okay, that's why ping exists. Okay, ping is very helpful. Okay, very, very helpful, by the way. So if you're new, or if you're doing it for the first time, I would highly recommend just do it once. It's also kind of cool as well. I kind of like it. So, but let's say you want to do it on your Windows. Okay, the way you do it is basically test, and then you basically have test connection. Okay, and then you write the IP address. I'm going to write 888. 192.168.1.1, which is Google's IP address. Press enter. Okay. And now you can see, you are pinging to Google's IP address and it's getting the data back as well. Of course, it stops now, but this one just keeps on running. So I'm going to terminate it like this, which is again very helpful. But now you have understood how exactly you start with the networking. Okay, a little bit of an idea. Okay, now we're going to get into like proper details of, how you can set a lot of parameters, use and configure all these things to learn and build a good amount of information as well. So let's actually get into it and, get started. Now, what you really need is you might need to configure something, okay? So let's say you want to know your IP address, okay? Your own IP address. For that case, you can use ifconfig, okay? ipconfig, sorry, for Windows. Yeah, ipconfig, enter. And then you get your IP address of your own, okay? Once you are in your Mac, you can do, let's say, ifconfig. Even forgetting it. Yeah. And press enter. ifconfig, enter. And then you'll get your IP address and all the other information. I'm blurring it out a little bit, just to be on the safe side. Don't want to show all my IP addresses and all. But yeah, very important for you to, know how you can get your IP addresses, of course. Then once you have all these things, you might want to, test out or, set up your network status, okay? You can use for, let's say, for macOS, it's pretty easy. You can use netstat, okay? Press enter, and you'll get all this data about your local host and everything, which is there. Quite helpful to figure out, if your network is working, what all are you doing, local host ports and everything. So all of these things which are there, you can essentially check and, see if the network is established or not, okay? Now, if you go over here with Windows, okay, it's a little long. You have to write get net TCP, okay, TCP, and then connection, okay, get TCP connection. Press enter. TCP is a protocol, okay, which is basically checking, if your ports are accessible and available, and that's what you're doing. You can also do another check for the protocol, which is going to be UDP protocol as well. So you can also write net UDP endpoint, enter. Yeah. So you are basically figuring out your UDP endpoints, which is basically it's similar to checking your file transfer protocols endpoints. Okay. Again, you would require and learn all these things a little more on like when you jump into networking, but yeah, still very helpful and very important for you to understand that this exists. Okay, now you might need to require, to connect to a different router or, to a different machine somehow. For that, one of the popular options that you use is something known as SSH, okay? SSH, and then you write the username. Let's say I want to connect to my Raspberry Pi, okay? So my Raspberry Pi username is usually proxy123 @ and then IP address 192.168.1.1. And this is a local IP address, basically, where you can, check and, figure out, okay, this is what the local IP address is. This is the username for that device. And then you can SSH into that, okay, basically. Pretty straightforward. I don't have a Raspberry Pi right now to show it to you. But yeah, in case you ever do it, this is how you should do it. And this is how it's done. Next thing, you might be using terminal for quite a lot is basically to install packages, okay. For Mac OS, it's amazingly done. Okay, you use something as brew, BREW. Okay, brew. You can use brew install. Okay, and then package name. Let's say you want to install some package name on Ruby. Okay, brew install Ruby. Press enter. Okay, and then it's gonna fetch out Ruby for you, and it's gonna install it for you. You can see on over here, it's running the updates and everything, and it's gonna get you the newest Ruby packages that you want. One of the coolest thing that I feel about with brew is basically it's like a beer mug, which is like brewing a beer. So brew, if you write brew, enter, you have some of the examples of how to use it in case you want to. For Windows, sadly, we don't have something like this. You have Chocolatey or, to install brew over here, which is one possibility. But yeah, I don't have it installed right now, which I don't feel like installing as well. Because, it's there with Windows, you have different kind of, things which are available, and this Windows is like fresh out of the box. So I don't have anything at this moment. So let's say you want to do something very basic, these are extra stuff, by the way. So, let's say you would want to, check your disk space usage, okay? which is pretty bad for my Mac. Okay, so we write df. Okay, that df is essentially going to use show you how much your disk has been used. Mine is almost 100%, which is there. Let's say you want to check it on this Windows machine, or I would do the same thing. You can use get, okay, wmiobj, where my object, okay, then one parameter class, okay, and then win32, Windows 32, okay, then logical disk, logic disk. Okay, it's not coming, so I'm not sure if this is the right one. But it should work. Yeah, it is working. Okay, okay. So you can see the free space, the size and everything. All of these things that you want to know with different partitions, you can see it over here. In Mac as well, you can see all the partitions and everything, that you have. Pretty helpful, actually, very, very helpful. So let's say you want to figure out, you ran something over here, but you forgot what you did. Okay, you can actually write on Windows like get history to get the history of all the things that you have written so far. For this thing, you can just write history. Okay, and you'll get the history of all the things that you have done so far. So, which is kind of cool, and let's say you want to clear all this off, you can just write clear and clear over here as well. Last thing that I forgot to tell you is how do you get help? Okay, let's say you want to find something. You can write man, enter, and then you will get like a documentation of everything that is there, that exists. I think this is like, I've never used this. Basically, it's like a manual page for specific commands. You can write it for you can search for something. Let's say you want to search for brew. Okay, let me exit it. Yeah, I need to exit it. Okay. Yes, escape. Yeah, it's little tricky. Yeah, suspended. Cool. So you can use man for Mac. I have never used it before. By the way, these are extra commands, not really important. You can use get help for this thing, and then let's say get help. Oh, by the way, this is not like this. Get help, and let's say I want to search for CD. Okay, so yes. Okay, it's required to update the content library. But yeah, that's that's how it's done. But considering this thing and considering all of the things that we have done so far, I think this entire video gave you a huge amount of idea on what exactly terminal is capable of. Okay, so terminal as a tool, okay, is very powerful. Terminal as a control manager, or as a manager for your projects, is again very powerful as well. You can use it for so many things at the same time. You can execute so many operations from this thing. This is like just the start. Once you move ahead, you will understand how to use Git and GitHub using terminal as well, and all the other things which are possible. Okay, it's extremely powerful. Do make sure that you go through this video again if you need to. Okay, there are some blips like which are there in the video, but that's okay, and I would really want to keep it natural. So but yeah, that's the main thing that you really want to do, that you want to make sure that you know and learn the terminal properly. And yeah, I hope you had lots and lots of fun. If you have some problems in this thing, I would highly recommend going back to this video. If you need more references, I would highly recommend even go to Google and checking it out. That's equally fine. But yeah, I hope you had lots of fun, and I'll see you all in the next one. Till then, happy learning and peace.